Have you ever decided to build a rig and you're like, oh my God, where do I start at? What do I do? How do I need to know what I need to do? What all of that. So in this video, I want to talk a little bit about finding the little things, putting it all together. You know, a lot of times we go do pricing and we price our reels and we price our pressure washer and we price our tanks, but that's all the big stuff. It's all the little stuff that adds up. And so what I try to do so I don't have a bunch of extras, which in the past, I've always just bought a bunch of extra stuff, but that stuff starts getting expensive, especially if you don't need it. So I will have a list of everything that I use for this rig. Now this rig is gonna be downstreaming. It's gonna have an 8 gallon a minute pump on it. It's only gonna have 2 hose reels, 1 water, 1 pressure wash hose. It's not gonna have a soft wash pump. It will have the bypass hose on it and everything like that. But he didn't want to do the soft wash system. So that's fine. And we could always add it later, put a hose reel on the other side. But this is just gonna be, he has another rig that if he needs to do roof cleaning, he can pull that trailer for roof cleaning. So this is gonna be a house washing rig, concrete cleaning rig only. And so you can make a lot of money with just this rig right here. So the first thing I always try to do is kind of figure out where all my stuff is gonna go. My tank's right here. My pressure washer is gonna go in this area. My gas tank, my battery, but that's the easy part. The hard part is figuring out what parts do I need? What do I need to get from my hose reel into my tank? What are the things into my Job valve? We're using a Job valve on this one here because it's supposed to get a lot more. So a lot of times what I do is I will actually look at it, I will bring it out here, see where I'm gonna go with it, make sure I got enough hose to go from here to there, any step ups, stuff like that. And then what I'll do is I write it all down on my sheet here, and so that way I can order it. Now, we're actually gonna be going down to Southside Equipment and I may get some of it there. Otherwise, what I've found out is a lot of times it is easier just to order it online, so that way we don't have to do, let's see if I got one in here, 4 fittings to do one thing. You know, we don't have to put fittings on top of fittings like this here, fittings on top of fittings to make something work. If we buy it online, I could have bought a whatever size this is. I think this is 1.5 inches to a 1 inch, a 1 inch nipple, and I wouldn't have had to do a bunch of fittings. And so you might say, well, Jason, a bunch of fittings ain't that bad. Well, it ain't that good either. A lot of times by the time you pay the cost of all those fittings, you're gonna pay way more. And any little bit, you gotta remember this thing going down the road in the truck, bouncing around, it's gonna cause it to leak. It's gonna cause more issues than we need. So this is some things that if we sit here and spend an hour or two of figuring out, all right, what size is this? What size am I going to? All of that. And a lot of times, yes, I will find my 1 inch fitting and say, all right, this is a 1 inch fitting, and I'm gonna screw it in there to make sure that I have the right sizes. Now, I know you don't always have the luxury of that, but them are some things that I wanna do. So, I will have a complete list of every fitting that I used on here, and I will break it down as in the pressure washer to the tank, or the garden hose to the tank, the pressure wash hose to the pressure washer, how many bolts I need. You know, I need 4 bolts here, 4 bolts there. I'm gonna need a brace here so this isn't, so it doesn't slide there. I'll probably put a brace here so it doesn't go here. I may slide them both all the way over, or I might just keep it centered so that way I can put stuff here. So these are the things that we're looking for when we're building a rig. And this doesn't matter if we're building a rig that's in a truck bed setup or on a trailer. We still have to do all the same things. Usually on the trailer, yeah, we got way more room and we spread stuff out a lot further. So then we got to see our hoses are longer, all of this, where on this little unit here, it's going to be nice and tight and everything's going to be condensed. And yes, I am running an 8 gallon a minute off of a 50-gallon buffer tank. I am using the Jobe valve. I will be using 3/4 inch water hose coming into it, so all of those things can help with me not having issues. The other cool thing too is being that this is an upright tank, you know, 25 gallons is right here, where if you're in a big 250-gallon tank, 25 gallons is down here at the very bottom. So these are some things that you got to remember, that I'll be able to work a lot faster and move on, even though I might have to wait a couple more times, but you're still going to be waiting either which way. Unless you're planning on driving to the house full of water of 250 gallons, it doesn't matter how big your buffer tank is at that point. Just wanted to jump on here and let you see some things going on here of how I will do it, and I'll do a little video of me measuring stuff here too. Before we go on any further, if you would like to learn more about pressure washing and stuff like that, I have a step-by-step course of how to do a pressure washing business. You can go check it out at pressurewashhelp.com or King of Pressure Washing, and there I have all the steps. In fact, one of the steps is building your own rig, and I teach you step by step of how to build a rig, reasons why we need to build a rig, and not only that, it is also the 26 steps to the perfect house wash. I give you all 26 steps to make sure that you do a perfect house wash every time, and you do every step, so that way you hit everything you need to do, like marketing, like taking before and afters to cover your tail, and all of that is detailed in there, so make sure you go check that out. I got my list done. It took me about 20-30 minutes. I know it's getting dark here. I just decided I'd hit it out here, and I'll just show you kind of, this is how much, you know, 1 page, 2 pages. And so the check mark means I have it. So I did have some of this stuff, but then if it didn't have a check mark, obviously I'm gonna have to order it or make sure I get it. And this, you might think, man, this is not that hard to do, Jason. But a lot of times, this right here, of taking this 20-30 minutes will save you hours and hours of you driving to the store, you trying to find the parts, you figuring out, well, they don't sell that part, how do I got to get around that part? And so, like I say, a lot of times this is why I buy on Amazon or online, so that way I can say, hey, here's all my parts I need, send them to me at this point. With this crazy stuff going on right now, it's being harder to get parts, so hopefully I can get all my parts. So, because my goal is to have this thing up and running by the end of May and out of here. So that is my goal. I know next week is Memorial Day, and we're going to see how my goal is going to turn out to be. But just remember, when we're doing all of these parts and we're figuring out all the parts we need, it really is best to sit there and figure out, you know, am I going to do 1/2 inch? Am I going to do 3/4? So some tips that I always try to do is if I'm coming into my pressure washer, into my water tank, going into my water tank, I like doing at least 3/4 or 1 inch. Whatever I try to do, I try to keep it all. Now, being that I'm running an 8 gallon a minute, I'm running an inch line coming out of there, going into my pressure washer. So that's going to be a little bit bigger. If I'm running inch stuff, sometimes it's easier just to run all inch or all 3/4 versus this size here and this size here and this oddball size here and this oddball size here. A lot of times it's easier just to keep it on 1/2 inch, 3/4, or 1 inch. Try not to get into those 5/8 and that kind of stuff, other than soft wash hoses, stuff like that. But even then, you really want to try to keep it simple, otherwise you can get into the weeds of going down the road of, well, I got this, now I'm at 5/8 and I got to get to 1/2 inch and all of this crazy stuff. And so it can aggravate you sometimes. It can be a real royal pain in the neck. So just kind of keep it simple, and you know, don't overcomplicate a lot of things. I know a lot of times I see people, well, you know, I can run it through a mixer valve in my downstream and unhook it. And you just got to remember, the more connections we have, the more likely it's going to have issues. The less connections we have, the less likely we're going to have issues. So when we start adding all these fangled dangled things onto our machine, all we're doing is creating more possibilities of leaks, of stuff not to work. And the last thing you want to do is not being able to work. That is a no-go. That's not good. That means you have downtime. That means you have to figure out what's broke and what's wrong, what is what. So with all that said, you know, a lot of times, kiss it. Keep it simple, stupid. And I know a lot of times we want to try to make it all this cool stuff and fangle dangle dangle doodle daddle stuff, and at the end of the day, it's not worth it. I've built, this is probably be my 35th rig that I've built, and so I've learned of buy all, you know, even on like my extra stuff, if I'm going to buy extra, I'm going to try to buy all 1 inch or all 1 3/4 or something to keep it simple. That is probably the biggest thing that I learned. Even if it's overkill and it's the same, like I try to do all 3/4 or all 1 inch, so that way even though it's overkill, it's all simple. You know, I just got to step it up to whatever, and then I can keep it simple. So that is my tip of the day, is keep it simple. And so what I want you to do now is write me a comment down below here of what is your favorite rig. What do you like, a truck rig? Do you like a trailer rig? Or do you like in the back of your car rig? Let me know down in the comments. I'm waiting to hear it from you.